appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Tonight is membership only Mondays, and my members in my school community get to join and ask me questions, and I answer them. Usually, I keep this moment private, but there are multiple questions where the my members DM me, and so it's obviously easier for me to just kind of verbally say it. It's a lot quicker than typing it back. And then, of course, I want to be as much help to you guys as possible. Okay. So I'm not obviously naming any names with people that have any kind of health issues, but if you guys are interested in joining my school because you are going through something, regardless if it's anything on from in the alphabet from A to Z, doesn't matter. Me or my team can help you reverse it, and we can help you get through. Okay, because we've just been high too long enough. All right. So I got some members that are coming in right now. So forgive me if I'm looking in this direction. I'm looking at my laptop. You can see here. Well, I don't know. Anyway, too much. Anyway, I'm just gonna read some of their questions, and some of them are gonna come on and ask me questions. So that's what we're doing tonight. All right. So feel free to chime in, or if depending on how much time is left, I may get to answer some of your questions. I don't know. All right. Okay. I've got some questions popping up, and let me get to those. Let me press record first. That would be good. Okay. All right. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's see. All right. Just kind of going through some of these questions. I don't know if I can keep a particular order, so I'm just going to answer them as they come. That's not what I wanted. There we go. All right. Wow. You guys are asking some major questions tonight. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let me scroll back to the top and get to the first one that I saw. Okay. And this is actually a great first question to have. All right. So someone is asking, do I have to wait until Monday to start my program? Short answer, no, you don't have to wait. Okay. The whole I'll start Monday mentality, that energy is basically the same cycle that keeps most people stuck. So you don't need a new week. You don't need a new decision, all these extra things. Just start with something small today. Okay. Drink more water. Most people are dehydrated, like so dehydrated, not from the fact of not only not drinking enough and forgetting to drink water, but also eating foods that are engineered to keep us dehydrated. So you definitely have to be more mindful about drinking a lot of water. Okay. Pause before you snack. That's a lot of things that I teach within my program as well. If people always ask me the difference between a craving and a want, like a want, you want some chips or you want other kind of snack versus a craving. So you know the difference between the two. A craving is all of a sudden, like you're sitting here doing work, and all of a sudden, ooh, I want a Snickers. Ooh, I want some chips. Ooh, I want this or that. That is a craving. So I teach you guys to pause and just take 3 alkalizing breaths, because usually it was a smell or some kind of nostalgic memory that passed or something happened to make you want that craving. Your body internally and physically, physiologically is not asking for that snack, because usually it's some kind of junk food, so your body doesn't really want it. But you think you want it and need it because of something that just happened. Now, obviously, it's a variety of things that just happen that make you want it, but that's why you pause and really actually tune in to pay attention to why you want that specific snack right now. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense as far as the craving and the want. You pause, take 3 alkalizing breaths, and then just pay attention to your surroundings. That'll that'll tell you some stories into why you want that particular snack, in addition to uh, the type of food that you want too. So if you're craving chocolate, that tells you that your body is actually needing magnesium, phosphorus, and calcium. So it's not just something crazy about chocolate itself and your addiction to it. Your body is saying, we need some minerals right now. And most people don't know how to recognize that, and they don't realize that. So their body is just going to automatically reach toward foods that it knows it has some magnesium in it. So it's like, okay, let's just get this in. However, there's other healthier places to get magnesium. My number one favorite is sea moss. Sea moss provides 92 of the 102 minerals that we need daily. Now, I have some cautions about where to get your sea moss, which I have a totally separate video on that because I don't want to go into that tonight. I want to stick with your guys' questions. But be careful on where you get your sea moss from. All right. Read the labels. Read the labels on all of your food. And I know that doesn't sound fun, but I have a place, a specific video inside the program where it helps you read the labels and be cautious about what you're putting into your body. Okay. And again, I know that doesn't sound sexy, it doesn't sound exciting. However, once you get to a place to where it may take you like maybe a month to see which foods that you like and doesn't have a lot of harmful chemicals in it, it'll be very quickly, because typically when you go to the store, you get the same stuff anyway. But once I teach you how to create this new healthier habit, you'll go to the store and you'll just get these things very quickly, and it won't take you very long. There's also an app called Yuka, Yuca, I believe. That also helps you like scan the ingredients quickly, and that way you won't have to spend a lot of time, because you shouldn't need a doctorate degree to be able to understand what's in your food. Like it should be just simple ingredients, but it's not that way anymore. So it kind of goes into this whole loop of reaching towards these foods that are dehydrating you, and you're already not drinking enough water. So it's just a continuous loop. So again, that's what the whole program is about. It's helping you become more mindful about what you're putting into your body. Okay. So I hope that helps. Going back to, do you have to start my program on a Monday? No, you don't. But once you come in and see how the program is designed and set up, it is a little bit easier if you start it on a Sunday, actually. So if you start on a Sunday, because I have what is called day zero, and that gives you all the information, helps you set your goals, helps you set your why, helps you set up some things. So before when Monday comes, you already are aligned and you know exactly what to do. Okay. So you can start today if you want to. You can start on Wednesday if you want to. However, it is set up in a way where starting on a Sunday or a Monday is a little bit easier, just because I know that that's where how most people's mentality is. And once you get rolling in the program, you'll understand why, and you'll see how it makes sense. So for those that are listening, you get 2 weeks free access to my 13-week step-by-step system to help you rewire your brain and look at food for what it is, whether it's life or death, to be honest with you. Okay. So yeah, that's it. All right. Sorry for the long-winded answer to your question, but yeah. So no, you don't have to wait till Monday to start, but you can start any day you want to. All right. So one person asked, I'm on week 4. I'm on week 4, and what if I mess up? Okay, that's a good question, and I appreciate your vulnerability on that. Um, the thing is, you're gonna mess up because we don't do perfection in my program. All right, you're going to mess up, and that's not failure though. That's just data, right? So the problem isn't the mess up. The problem, or if you call it a problem, if you look at it as a problem, it's what do you do next? What are you going to do after this so called mess up? Do you say, oh, I blew it, so I'll just wait till next week and start all over? Or is there a way that you can reframe it and say, This is interesting. What triggered me to actually so called mess up? Okay. So we don't restart the whole program, we just respond. And so awareness, that is the whole entire flex. That's the whole entire point of the overall arching program, or point of the program, because we mindlessly eat a lot. And so I want to wake you guys up and make sure you understand what you're actually doing. You're waking up, instead of getting a bag of chips and getting down to the bottom, you're like, whoa, I didn't realize I finished this whole entire bag, right? That's the whole point of it. It's just awareness. So thank you again for asking that question, being very vulnerable. And so, no, don't restart. Just recognize where you are and why you so called messed up, and then just continue going. Now, I will say this: if you've gotten to a certain point in the program, and I would say like week 5, for example, and you're constantly still pretty much doing the same things you were before you started the program, that is when I would suggest that you start over, because there's so many things that are happening within 3 weeks, three within weeks 3 and 4, where if you don't do some of those things, it's not really going to help you as you progress later on in the program. Okay. I don't want to say too much, because part of the success of my program is the psychology behind it, and the fact that you don't know what's coming. So that's the only time that I'll gatekeep and not let you in on what's going on, because again, that's part of the success of the program. So yeah. So I would say if you're not following along by week 5, then consider starting over. Okay. All right. Another question. What does it feel like a lot in the beginning? Ah, phenomenal question. I love this. All right. Why does it feel like a lot in the beginning? Because you're interrupting years and years and years of patterns. Okay. And it's not just food. These patterns are habits. These patterns are emotions. These patterns are routines. They're identity. Things that you've been doing over and over and over again. And again, not just around food, but a habit could be like, okay, what happens to you when you go through another breakup? What happens to you when you get a non good grade on an exam? I just finished my PhD, and one of the girls that started with me, she actually failed out of the program, which I didn't even know that you could do. But you can't get C's in a PhD program. And so when she came to me, she got her first C, and she was just bawling, crying. And she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. She actually got a D. But you get anything below a C is, you're on the verge of getting kicked out of the program. And so she's the first person that made me aware of this. And she was like, if I get another C, I get kicked out. And I was like, oh my gosh. So a lot of emotions going on, and how she dealt with emotions were eating sweets. That's a lot of people, they do those things. Some other people have habits of smoking or drinking or going out and partying and not dealing with the situation. So you've built so many years of these same patterns of how you're dealing with stress in life, or how you're dealing with emotions, and your routines and identity, and the way people see you, the way you see yourself. So that's why it feels like a lot, because it interrupts all of that. So the first phase feels loud, even because your brain is like, wait a minute, this ain't what we do. So what's going on here? But you don't need to do everything perfectly. I want you to just focus on one thing. Stabilize just one thing that week. Okay? Whatever week you're in, just stabilize that information. All right? Because this ain't about adding more to your already potentially stressful life. It's about making change that feels normal. Making small little tiny patterns that almost feel too hard to fail. Okay? But I'm going to challenge you, of course, because that the whole world is challenging us every single day. So it's going to feel like a challenge. And when you do this on your own, it feels like a lot. It feels loud as well because, again, the world is telling you what to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The world is telling you when to eat, what to eat, with all 90% of the commercials being food. You may have 30 minutes of a lunch break on your job. So you're being taught to like eat fast. All these things that the world is teaching us that is not beneficial to us, that can be a dangerous loop. So when I'm coming into my program and I'm like, damn, we're not doing diets, just to let you guys know. We don't do diets in my program. I teach you to eat as much as you want, but it's with specific modifications. Okay. I teach you to look at food differently, to where you get to a certain point in the program, you're like, I don't even want all this anymore, because you look at it totally different. And it's not a sad thing when you hear this. And because, we have so many foodies out there and people love food. I love food, but I've retrained myself to love food that loves me back. And that's the difference. Okay. So other programs, they'll look at what you eat. Don't eat this, don't eat that, da da da. I don't do that. My program is psychology based, and I teach you to look at food totally different, so you can love food that loves you back. If you want the chocolate cake, have the cake, Tina. Have the cake. All right? But what I've done is made a deal with myself. It's like, if I want chocolate cake, I must make it myself. And yes, although I'm plant based, I don't push my agenda on anybody else, because through doing this for so long, I've actually had a number of clients whose body didn't respond well when they didn't eat animal foods. I just um, I just encourage them to eat more quality meats, because if you guys didn't know, there are certain foods out there that actually cause the same reactions in our bodies that smoking cigarettes does. Okay? It's called a level 1 or a level 2 carcinogen. Look it up. Look it up. There's certain meats and dairy that cause a level 1 or a level 2 carcinogen. And so what that means is, carcinogen just means that the same way that you understand smoking, you should understand meat and dairy the same way too. Okay. So not all meats do that. And so I just encourage people to level up on that quality of meat so you can avoid those types of issues. And it's typically stomach and colorectal, big C. I have to watch some of my words on social media, but yeah, just look it up. You can look it up right now. The World Health Organization, this study came out in 2015, over 10 years ago. And most people, 95% of people don't even know that. Okay. So just level up in your quality of meats. All right. So great question. I appreciate you. All right. Next question. How do I know if I'm actually hungry or just craving something? Another amazing question. I kind of answered it in the very first question when I went kind of way off the subject, but I'm going to come back to it, okay? Let me give you a simple test too. If only one thing will satisfy you, that is a craving. If only one thing will satisfy you, that is a craving. If multiple options sound good, that's true hunger. Okay. So I remember when one time I was in the grocery store, and the cashier lady, she was ringing me up. Her A guy came in, which I assumed was her boyfriend. I don't know, but he came in and he was like, "Hey, I'm about to go get us something to eat. What do you want?" And she was like, "I don't know. I don't know. Just get something." So I'm gonna challenge your question a little bit. She's like, I don't know. Just get anything. Get anything. He said, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to this burger spot and get us a couple of burgers." She's like, We had that yesterday. I don't want that again." He goes, "Okay, cool. What do you want?" And she was like rubbing her stomach. She's like, "I don't know. Just anything but that." He was like, "All right, bet. I'm gonna go to the fish spot and then I get her some fish sandwiches." Da, da, da. She's like, We had that last week." The look on this guy's face, he's like, "Okay, so what do you want?" And then she's rubbing her stomach again. She's like, I don't know, but for real, whatever you want besides those two is cool with me." And then he's like, "I bet." lasagna is sounding good to me now. She's like, I don't want that. Long story short, everything that he named, she didn't want it. Okay. So most people would say, just from the two choices that I gave you, if it's only one thing that'll satisfy you, that's a craving. If it's multiple options sound good, that's true hunger. With her, it was actually, she wasn't even hungry at all. She just knew it was lunchtime. And that's what I mean by the world telling you when to eat, what to eat, and all these things. She was a cashier at a grocery store. And so you have specific times where you can eat lunch. And that's so unfortunate because you don't even want to eat sometimes. And here's the thing, you don't even have to eat. Okay? Have you guys ever had a lunch break or a lunchtime and you didn't eat lunch? There's plenty of other options that you can do. You can go for a walk. You can go and journal. You can go listen to one of my videos that'll help you level up. You can do so many different things. But that's the thing. That's the part of being um your mind being manufactured into thinking you have to eat at these particular times. And you don't have to. Listen to your body. Eat when you're ready to eat. Okay? So sorry, to go back to directly your question, I hope you hear me with that. Ask yourself if you're truly hungry, okay? Because again, cravings are sudden, they're very specific, and they're very emotional. Hunger is more calm, it's more patient, and it's a lot more flexible, okay? So sometimes, again, it's neither, just like I just told you guys with the story, um, and you're not even hungry. But sometimes, again, you're just bored, you're just stressed, it's just lunchtime, you're just transitioning. And that, again, is why we pause. That's why we pause to tune in with ourselves and ask ourselves the important question. Say, self, are you hungry? And self could say, no, I'm not hungry. And it could be 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you hadn't had anything. Here's another thing. Have you ever gone all day long? It could be 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and you haven't eaten all day, and you're like, dang, I haven't eaten all day. I gotta eat something. Watch for that as well. Because that doesn't mean that you're hungry at 5 or 6 o'clock. Did you guys know that the body doesn't reach true hunger until every 38 to 42 days? You guys are going nuts. You heard me right. That was not I didn't misspeak. Every 38 to 42 days, that is when the body gets true hunger. So again, this whole conditioning and this whole notion that we need breakfast, lunch, and dinner with snacks in between, that is bizarre. That is crazy. That is not necessary at all. That is nonsense. Okay? We need water, absolutely. We need air. But food every day, we don't need it. Okay? Not every feeling needs food either. All right? Hope that answers your question. All right, guys. Is there another question? I don't. I think you have a lot of typos in there. Maybe you was typing fast. So can you retype that and ask that question? Because I don't quite get it. I don't quite get it. So ask that one more time, please. YouTube, do you guys have any questions? Okay, somebody asked, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. So you're in the middle of my program. I don't want to answer that here. I'll DM you the answer to your question because, once again, if you're new here, part of the success of my program is not knowing what's coming. And so your question is very specific because I think I know exactly where you are. You're around the middle of the program. So I don't want to answer that here. Okay. So I'll DM you and answer your question. Okay. All right, guys, it is that time where I'm getting off here. I only do 30 minutes on Mondays. Hopefully, you can join me on Wednesday for Wellness Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Um, Eastern, so 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, and then on Think Thursdays at 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. And then again on Sundays. I'm still trying to figure out what times I want to do on Sundays. I don't know yet. My Sundays are very different right now, so haven't committed to a time. But hopefully, I will see you guys on Wednesday. All right. Keep coming with your questions. Sign up for my program in Skool, 7-day free trial. After those 7 days, you like what you're seeing, it's only $5 a month after that. $5. Come on. I provide more value than $5 a month. And it's obviously not about the money for me. It's because I want you guys to stay active. I don't want you just sitting in my group and just not paying attention. So when you pay attention. And it's only $5. Okay. All right. Mwah. Love you guys. I'll see you on Wednesday.